What's up, everybody? We're back. And today, we're with my man, Frank McGovern. Frank McGovern is an OG when it comes to Philly wholesaling. It's about time I had him on here. He's got a very funky business model, very different than a lot of other people that we talk to. Instead of doing normal residential, Frank goes out to huge, big assets. And there's a couple huge deals throughout the course of the year instead of doing high volume. And Frank, I've been looking forward to speaking with you again, bro. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, I appreciate you having me on, Nick. I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I can share some good information with your audience and they get some value from it.
Dang right, bro. Awesome, man. Selfishly, I want to get a lot of value out of it. What the hell? What the hell? But what was that? So tell me more about the one deal that you were telling us a little bit about as we were walking over here.
Yeah, so that's about 400,000 net rentable square feet. It's a industrial building. It's rented to one tenant. It's like a triple net lease pretty much. Okay. And it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So that's like a very safe asset. Yeah. So I'm locking it up. So that particular deal, I actually what I call like reverse engineered, right? Okay. So I thought there was some potential in it, but I got a buyer that I have closed multiple deals with, gave him the information and kind of got him to commit to a number before I locked it up.
Okay. So you like reverse wholesale.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So like the seller wanted 20 million. We initially offered 12. That's kind of when the seller comes down to, I think, like 17, 18 million bucks. Kind of got my guy involved. And I honestly thought it was going to be worth somewhere around 16, 17 million bucks. Got the buyer to commit to 16 million. Seller was at 15.5 when I got the buyer to commit to 16 million bucks.
So already
500K spread potential.
Look at this guy.
So the last number we said to the seller, so like in my mind too, I'm like, oh, I'm about to lock this shit up. But the last number that we said to the seller was $15 million though, right? So I go to my sales guy, who is a VA in the Philippines. I said, tell him Frank didn't want to go above 15 million. I know that you're at 15.5. Best we can do is split the difference to get this done. Guy said, I'm not going to lose it over 250 grand. So we just locked in it.
Stop.
Yes. So as like where we stand like right now, attorneys, the seller's attorney is reviewing the agreement of sale. The seller actually has a good friend that owns a title company. They both reviewed the agreement. They're like, yeah, it's pretty standard. We don't really see any issues. Just want to get confirmation from the attorney. So I should have the agreement of sale back next week. Buyer's already lined up. 60-day due diligence, 30 additional days to close.
Okay.
And so
90 days total though.
Yeah, worst case.
Okay. And obviously a lot of people that are following, we're all in residential.
Yep.
And obviously you're not getting a 90-day close in residential. You say as soon as the title comes back, it's like the standard. So with a big asset they give you what is standard?
So I shoot for like 60 and 60. So 60 business days of due diligence with an additional 60 business days to close. I try to get as much time as possible.
And that's like a normal thing. That's like a normal.
Yeah. Some ask even longer than that. Now some can get like closed shorter. Yeah. Like at a bare minimum, I like to get 45 days of due diligence and then an additional 45 days to close. Because during the due diligence, like I'm marketing the property, like I'm trying to sell the property during the due diligence.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason I'm not able to move the property, then I don't move forward with the deal. The difference in this type of deal, like you put down 2 deposits, right? So as soon as you sign the agreement, you put down an initial deposit that's fully refundable during the due diligence. Once the due diligence period is up, you got to say, hey, I'm going to move forward or I'm not going to move forward. If you're not moving forward, you get the deposit back, fully refundable. If you are moving forward, you now have to place the second deposit, and now the first and the second are going to be fully refundable.
Okay.
And the buyer will actually be putting up this deposit for this deal, but it's a 500K deposit they're putting up.
Oh, geez. All right. So if you, so what happens if you didn't? So with this one, you had a buyer already lined up. What if you didn't have a buyer?
If I didn't have this relationship, I probably wouldn't be monetizing this particular.
Okay. Okay. So
there's because right, like this particular asset at this particular price point, like it's not really something that I probably wouldn't lock it up if I, didn't have like a buyer lined up because of like, most of the transaction I'm dealing in are like 1 million to like 5 million. You don't have to put down like a hefty deposit, like an initial deposit. So this one, like if I didn't have the relationship, I wouldn't be able to monetize it.
Okay, cool. So it comes down to the relationship. I love it.
Yeah. Because this is something like they're pretty much buying it like, an 8.5 cap or slightly less than that.
Okay.
And over the next couple of years with the rate increases, it'll get up to like a 9 cap. So it's not like a home run type of deal, which is most of the stuff I lock up in the storage space, where it's like I have more confidence like in moving them because of the numbers. So just slightly different with this particular one.
Okay. Average is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Man. So you're making 750?
750. Yep. 750 spread.
$750,000.
Yeah, unless
you gotta
this
do a
is
lot of houses for this.
Yeah, unless this is results not typical. Like this is not like, these are like every type of deal like I'm closing is this. Like I in the residential space I was averaging 10 to 20. Like now I average over 100 and I'm getting like equity ownership in the deals. But like the biggest spread that I created was like 450K that like I closed. Yeah, so I just really am able to focus more on like finding like a needle in a haystack and doing minimal deals throughout the year as opposed to focusing on volume. But all of the skill sets that I wholesaled, I was telling you, like I started wholesaling houses in Philly, did over 600 deals. So that's where I got like the majority of the skill sets that were transferable into this. It's 70% the same.
Okay, 70% the same.
Yeah, 70%. And I can help you with the other 30.
Yeah, my guy, look at this. I love it. Man, and you're having a VA do these calls?
Yeah. I would say like I run a highly profitable business, but it is certainly not highly efficient. If I had local people like A players, it would be run much more efficiently.
Okay.
But the way that I got it set up, like I set it up to be highly profitable.
Yeah.
Like the efficiency, like I'm not an efficient person, good at managing.
And you must be all right at managing if you've got a virtual assistant.
No, I'm good at sales. And I trained him. I spent a lot of time with him.
Okay.
But like managing people, like no, that's not my cup of tea.
I love that. It's difficult to manage people, bro. It's not fun.
Yeah. I'm more of a visionary, bigger picture thinker. Like I'm not don't have like an operational management, COO type of mindset.
It's good that you recognize that about yourself.
Oh yeah.
I feel the same way, kind of.
And for too long with houses, I thought I had to, be great as an operator and kind of managing people and shit.
Have this big assembly line machine. Yeah. That's what they tell you you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I've tried like hiring people like in terms of hiring a number 2 and managing, but it just never worked out. And I take full responsibility, like it's on me. But the way that I have stuff set up now and what I'm doing is like really the path I feel like I'm supposed to be on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'll ever do any marketing for houses ever again in my life.
Yeah, because now you know that it's real. You got the proof of concept.
Yeah.
And man, if you're getting spreads like that, why the heck would you want to go back to residential?
Yeah, it was like the first like bigger deal. Like, well, I guess it was the second bigger deal I closed was like a 300K spread. I guess about like 24 months ago. But after I closed that, I was like, yeah, fuck these houses.
No, for real. Now, how many of these deals are you doing?
So last year I did 20. Last year I did 4, and I got like a little over 500K in fees from those 4. And I was still closing some residential stuff. The year before that, I did 2. This year, like from my marketing, I'll do probably like a minimum of 8. And then I started doing some like coaching and mentoring. So that I can't imagine like doesn't get me like another 10 deals.
Yeah, no, for sure. My students are in residential, so the deal size is a lot smaller. But those student deals add up, man.
Oh yeah, and
they don't all come into fruition. But with your business model, how you were saying, they're all like actual, or they're like they already really know how to wholesale.
Exactly.
I bet you'll get you'll create some animals.
Yeah. Like there's only 6 people I'm working with, but all of them have done over 50 deals, and like a couple people have done like 150 to 200 plus deals. So I wouldn't want to really work with like new investors because it's like that's just not what I'm like looking for. Like if somebody has experience wholesaling houses, direct to seller marketing, like to me, if they're good at it, I can like work with you and get you up to speed like pretty quickly. But to take somebody But to take somebody that has zero experience, wholesaling houses,
It's different.
yeah, it would be much more challenging and just not something that I'm like looking to do.
Yeah. No, I get that.
That's where I got hit.
That's where you come to me. That's where you come to me. So I'll teach you the wholesale, and when you're done with residential, you switch over to more Franco. I'll get you straight.
Yeah.
Hey, I love it, man. I love it. So how many virtual assistants do you have?
I got 3 like main ones that work for me. One that focuses more on like operations, one that focuses on sales, and one that's focused on like, lead management, follow up. And then like the majority of my business now comes from cold calling. So I have like a third party cold calling company that I work for, and I have them.
Oh, so you have an agency that
Yeah,
does
yeah.
it. Oh,
The lead management. But like the other stuff like follow up, and the agency only does like cold calling. That's it. So they're like doing lead gen and like sending them in, and then the other 3 people will handle the lead, make the calls, and everything else.
Exactly.
I do some RVMs as well, and I'm going to actually get back to doing direct mail, which I haven't done in years, which is kind of crazy. Because with houses, I used to do like 40 to 50,000 pieces a month.
Oh man, you were dropping money on this mail, bro.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man.
That was at the end of 2019, like, because it was becoming like highly inefficient to send the mail. So I transitioned into texting,
Yeah.
and then now that's becoming inefficient. So now I'm transitioning back to the mail.
And texting is tough. I was late to the game with the texting. I should have done it before, and then I started, and I felt like an idiot. I said, "Oh my God, this is great! I love texting. I'm never gonna stop." And then they hit with all the regulations, and I couldn't get what is it, the 10 DLC, blah blah blah. I couldn't get approved to save my life. I got with Phil Ball over in South Jersey. He said he's gonna help me. I guess he said he would help me. He's gone somewhere other than launch control.
Phil is my homie, but I had to whoop his ass in softball, and he says I cheated, but he lies when he says that.
Oh, I love this. I don't know. He's pretty beefy, but you got the long arm and the long legs. So I think you could hit a ball pretty good, bro.
I dropped some weight, so I got some wheels on me now again.
Yeah. He's so jacked. He can't be he can't be that quick. I bet you're quicker.
Oh, him and now that you bring this up, him and Beatty were supposed to race, and I always said I'll beat both of you.
You gotta both beat Beatty,
I seen both of them run into softball games, so I'm confident.
Oh man, that's good stuff, bro.
That's a challenge, guys. That's a challenge.
Man, it's a good stuff, bro. But yeah, Phil said that he's got someone that he's using other than launch control. That if I continue to have issues with it, he would put me on to. You're completely off the text end.
I have been for like 3 or 4 months, but somebody like I highly respect in the industry that's like not local, she's using it again. So I was going to actually have a conversation with her. And
She's using launch control again?
yeah.
Oh, shit, okay.
I used launch. I was like killing it, doing extremely well. I had two different accounts. I got past like the 10 deal, whatever that bullshit. But then it literally got to a point like where I was paying to be able to send 5,000 a day, and then like on like Monday morning they're like, oh, you can only send 4,000 this week or 3,000, like less than what I'm paying for it. And then some weeks, oh, you can't send any this week. So I was like, yeah, well, you ain't giving me like a credit. And then above and beyond that, like the ones that I was actually able to send, the deliverability was like way down. So it just became like super inefficient.
Yeah. Man, the deliverability is
yeah, and then like even like the messaging and shit, like the type of messaging like just totally changed. So again, it just became super inefficient. But like I said, this is somebody I know and respect. She kills it in wholesaling and flipping. So I'm gonna have a conversation with her because it's a super yeah. And to me, it's like shit. Like for what I do, if I got like a deal a quarter from the text messaging, it's like
bro. You're living large and in charge. Yeah. By far living large and in charge. And I was doing it through Batch, and Batch is connected through Twilio. And you know what, man? Twilio, they don't have a customer service rep, so you better figure it out. So I was trying to do it myself. I had no one to call. Then I had my girl try to do it. She finally got approved, but still the deliverability is zero. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I tried Batch like before because I used to use this one thing called 80/20 REI, which is now it's just a data company. But like they had a platform, like I was able to send like over 10,000 a day. I was killing it. And then like literally like they fucking, it was like December 28th of, I guess it was 2020 maybe. And they sent an email to everybody as December 31st at 12 p.m. We will no longer be offering texting services. I was like, oh my Lord. So I had to transition. I tried batch and a few other things, weren't really like good. And then I tried launch control, and I did really well with that up until maybe a few months ago.
Man, okay. Well, hopefully it's true. Hopefully it still works, man. Hopefully it's back in action.
Yeah, yeah, I'll try it. Like, to me, that's an important part of all, like, residential, commercial, whatever. You got to be willing to try marketing, test marketing, see if you're, getting a good return on investment on it.
Yeah, for sure. And before we were rolling, you made up a good point, man. If you're going to go after a market, everyone communicates differently and everyone receives communication differently. So you got to hit them with everything. You can't just call. You can't just text. You can't just drop mail. You got to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying to Nick. Like, to me, like, if somebody texts me and I don't know the number, like, I would respond to it. But if you called me, send me an email, left me a voicemail, like,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, but there's certain people like that prefer an email, or certain people that prefer a piece of mail. So if you're only doing one marketing channel, or like even maybe two, you're literally just not going to get certain motivated sellers, people that you can monetize, because you're not doing a marketing channel.
Yeah.
And then you want to do the least expensive marketing, first, because if you pull a list of 10,000, you send text, cold call it, or whatever, maybe you now get that list down to 9,000 before you work on the most expensive marketing channel, which is direct mail.
That's true. Man, it's good to funnel it down that way by expenses too, so you're not just spending a ton of money and just mailing everybody up front.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, because direct mail is expensive. And the thing is too, the funny thing is like, people will kind of focus on like leads, right? Well, you ain't going to get a lot of leads with the direct mail. Like, they're more qualified leads. They're more quality leads.
That's why I wanted to get into it, because with cold calling, you're dealing with so many leads, and not many of them are worth anything, and you got to narrow down so many people. And I'm like you, is in the sense where it's me. You know what I mean? I don't have like, it's me and my virtual assistant.
Yeah.
So like it would be nice and would cut down on the workload and the expense. It really would, to not have to go through so many people. So fuck it, I'd rather have less leads but better leads. Let me spend this money on this man.
Yeah, so the more expensive the marketing channel, the less leads you're going to get, but the more quality the leads. When you have cheap marketing like SMS, like that was great. It made tons of money, great ROI. Yeah, we get tons of leads that were just like tire kickers, because it's like people will just kind of like respond, where that's less likely to happen like with PPC or direct mail, which is much more expensive forms of marketing.
Way more expensive.
Yeah,
more expensive. And man, it takes a while to be able to do all those at once. You got to have a hefty bankroll. You got to close.
You got to keep making sure you're like, when you close deals, like, you just increase your marketing every time. Yeah. If you want to grow the business, like, that's super important. Like, don't go be hood rich and go fucking buy some shit that you don't need.
No.
Invest in the marketing. Get some shit closed, grow it, and then once you're kind of more stable and kind of and not in like that growth mode, then you can kind of relax
all
a
out.
bit. Yeah. And you go buy that Bentley.
Yeah, man, I dig it. So it's you and three virtual assistants that are doing all this, and then you got the cold
callers, yeah. And just think about it, like, I'm trying to do 8 deals in a year. Like, how many people do you need to accomplish that?
Many, no.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not the one like that's like, I handle like analysis and dispo. And I actually wasn't even thinking about this, but in the last couple of weeks, I brought someone in part-time locally that's like helping with the disposition.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because like I set it up, I kind of shared with you, I was going through like a lot of personal shit the last couple of years. So the way that I set it up right now, it was just to do like, 5 to 10 deals a year, make a lot of money, and efficient. Well, now kind of got my mind and body right. So I'm going to get 3 pieces in play: a dispo, operations, sales. And then I'm going to get to a point where I was kind of at with the residential, just doing 4 or 5 deals a month, but with the big ass deals. Yeah, and that like 4 or 5 deals a month, even if I did 3 or 4 a month, like that's like $300,000 to $500,000 a month in revenue. I don't need it. Yeah.
Hey,
a whole lot.
Falling. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get there. I'm confident about it.
And at least coming from residential, 3 deals a month is not many.
No, that's okay.
So you could handle it. I would imagine you'd be able to handle that with the same team size.
Yeah, 100%. Like I already, in my mind, I've already done this before. with houses. So it's just a matter of me targeting something else. Like I'm confident, like just with those 3 people and like VAs to kind of do the marketing and follow up. That'll be easy to do that.
Your VA that speaks with the sellers, how much you pay this guy? How much you pay him an hour?
I want to say it's $6 to $7 an hour.
Stop. That's not true. That's not true.
Yes. And then when I
giving these sellers, bro.
he's worked for me for like 5 years.
He's a shark then.
Him and his wife started work for me like 6 years ago. And she handles she's like my operations personal assistant. Like she pulls the data, deploys the marketing, tracks the marketing, sets up my meetings. Like she does a lot.
Yeah, I just hired someone like that. He's the man.
And then so I then hired her husband, but they both came in as lead managers. Like literally just did lead management. And then I kind of just trained them up. And now she does operations marketing. He does like sales, and we'll train like the lead manager and follow-up specialist. And then the lead manager follow-up specialist, does those 2 things. Like, of course, we'll respond to like cold calls, follow up with old leads that are like not hot, and try to convert them to hot.
Good, man.
Peace.
Man, $7 an hour.
I give them bonuses, but like not percentages.
Yeah, of course.
But no, I give them bonuses that like for here, they're nothing. For there,
it's insane.
Yeah, like $1,000.
Yeah, and it would be bro. Yeah, $1,000 is huge.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy money in the Philippines.
It's insane money over there. These are happy people. They're never going anywhere. Yeah. Oh man, that's good. I just before I had a bunch of interns because I had a bunch of young kids from DMing me, and it's good. Like, and they'll do a lot, and there's a lot of turnover. But bro, you can get a couple good kids that are really good, but you do you're giving away percentages, so you're giving away a lot of money for that. So I switched over to the virtual assistant thing. It's way smarter. It's better and less turnover.
Yeah, like the way that to me, like if I want to get it so it's very minimal people, like I'm gonna need like A players, because I could probably even like 3 to 4 deals a month with A players. Like that's conservative. Because I don't want like a crazy amount of people. I really don't care as long as the number 2 is like managed. Like, and I'm not like it doesn't really matter. But like I just feel with 3 other people, the rest of like VAs, 3 to 4 deals a month like would be easy, and like all of us can eat crazy.
Hell yeah!
Because like the objective, like with the people I'm gonna like be working with too, is investing the money that they make into these like larger assets. Like that's what I'm gonna be doing. Like eventually, like I'm honestly not going to be a wholesale company. I'm going to be an acquisition company. Like right now, I wholesale them to create relationships with operators, and then they kind of prove themselves. They don't know it, but they're proving themselves to me.
Yeah,
I get little equity, so I'm kind of up to date on like what's happening. Well, I do the mentoring. Those people will be creating the deal flow along with my marketing. The operators, I can give them like 10% equity for managing the asset and a monthly management fee. I'll give 5% equity to the people that find me the deals, and a nice ass husky fee just depending upon how good the deal is. And then I'm going to focus more just on raising money. That's 85% to chop up.
It really is. It's about raising the capital.
Yeah, and it's just sales and marketing, like finding money, finding deals, and then showing people how to do that. And that's all I have to do.
Hell yeah, raising money.
Yeah, and like
we're everything. Like when you're buying a bunch of these assets.
Yeah, and honestly, like once, like right now, like we're in the process, like with a couple of them that I got equity in, of refinancing them. So once we do that, we'll now have a track record of saying, hey, look, we bought this multi-million-dollar asset. 12 months later, we refinanced it, got all the capital back. We were able to get cash out refinance like money. So it's going to be a pretty, safe bet. So, and again, like I'm just doing more and more of those deals and creating more of a track record. So in my opinion, it's going to be really fucking easy to raise the money with the track record that I'm establishing and with the operators like that I'm working with, more importantly.
Heck yeah, bro. For sure. And maybe not yet, but man, if you keep doing with the podcast, you're doing, and the more and more you talk about it, the more it's just out there. You know what I mean? You don't have to say it as much because it's all over the internet. You saying it. Yep. You know what I mean? You have a bunch of duplicates of yourself going through it a bunch, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah, like the podcast, like is definitely something that I like kind of have like a passion for, because it's about like just sharing people sharing their stories of fucking overcoming adversity and shit like that. But yeah, like I feel like it's not like I set it up to monetize it, but I just know that as I grow it, like it'll lead to like a lot of opportunities, like making,
Yeah.
you know, with capital raising and other shit.
It'll be great for capital raising.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure. It's very smart that you're doing it. Yeah, G, you putting in that work, man. Oh my goodness, content. Everybody under the sun under there. I love it, man. It's good.
Yeah, no, to me, I just like, to me, it gets it. A lot of people have said that they've gotten like a lot of value just from like the people sharing and stuff, because, you know, me growing up, I grew up poor, so I thought like if you had money, like you fucking screwed somebody over, you inherited the money, like something, like not like you didn't work really hard to get it, like that didn't happen.
Hustled it. Yeah.
But in reality, I've met a lot of people that have money now. And that's like the furthest thing from the truth. Like the most people got to bust their fucking ass to get it.
Yeah, and they did, and they got it because they're so correct, and they do business so well.
Yeah, and
correctly with people.
they're doing the right thing. They had, you know, they went through trials and tribulations, had to overcome adversity and all that shit, you know.
Hell yeah, that's good. No, it's true, bro. It's real. It is true.
Everybody got a story.
Everybody's got a story. Damn right. But yeah, let me bring it back to these big deals, bro.
Yep.
So if, let's say I wanted to mix it up a little bit and not just do residential, where would be the first thing that I start? Like, what list would I get? You know?
Yeah. So it depends.
You said it's like 70% the same. So I'm sure.
Yeah. So the first
get a list and call it, and market it.
So the first thing you got to do is kind of like pick an asset class, right? Okay. Because like, you know, when you pick houses, you're selecting like residential housing, single family home. Well, now you can pick an apartment building. You can, you know, focus on self-storage, warehouses. You could focus on hotels, motels, like any asset class. But that's the first thing. Pick an asset class.
Okay.
Start with one, I would say. And then, you know, pull the data. Reonomy, REONOMY, I would say is the best source to get like commercial and industrial data. Like that's where I pull it from.
Okay.
So pick an asset class, you know, get Reonomy.
So you're not getting this from batch.
No.
Okay. Reonomy. Okay.
Yeah. I've tried, like, I'll pull from anywhere to test it, but like, again, like there's just nothing that is comparable in my opinion, you know, to that.
Okay.
So pull the data, get it skip traced. And then from there, it's like the same, like you're deploying the marketing. You know, you're asking a different set of questions, right? Like with a house, you know, how many bedrooms, baths, what's the condition? Well, with the storage facility, you know, how many total units are there? How many, what sizes are those units? What is the rent amount for each unit? How many are occupied? You know, is it gated and automated? You know, when was the last time that you raised the rents? How much land is there, and how much of the land is being utilized? You want to figure out, hey, if they got 20,000 square feet and there's a ton of extra land, you know, you can potentially, if the demand is there, take it from 20,000 to 40 or 50,000.
Yeah.
You want to know like the rent amounts, because you want to see, is there an opportunity to like, you know, increase the value just by raising the rents? You know, maybe they're charging $50 for a 10 by 10, but the market rent is $100. So if you could literally double the value of a large asset in that situation. If you can buy it from a seller where they're charging $50 a month for something and the market rate's $100, you can go from 50 to 100. You know, if the asset was worth $1 million, it's now worth $2 million.
Yeah.
If it was worth 2 or 4. So like the way to add value with the larger assets, you're either increasing the occupancy, you know, taking it from 50% occupied to like 85, 90%. You're raising the rents, or you know, the build out component. Like that's like the 3 ways.
Okay. And when you're getting these, so a lot of time, I'm guessing you're evaluating it by cap rate.
So yeah, you're determining, you know, you want to figure out how much money is coming in, and then what expenses are going out. Like that will give you the net operating income.
Okay.
And the net operating income, you know, determines the cap rate. But yeah, the big difference with this space compared to residential, yeah, you're not looking at like comps in the immediate area. It's all based off of the financial information.
Okay. Which is good. The comping is a pain.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. This is probably more difficult, but
you can't comp a single family. Let's get this straight.
Yeah.
This
might be a
little
bit more difficult, but yeah, it's also not rocket science. It's just like multiplication, division, subtraction.
It's not subjective. Sometimes comps are a little.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I went on this side of Frankfurt Avenue, and that's different part of Fishtown.
Exactly. But the numbers are the numbers, basically.
Yes and no, though, because you know, you find out the cap rate like for the property, But then like you have to determine the type of market that it's in, right? So there's a
Okay,
cap rate for the
yeah.
asset, and then there's like kind of like a market cap rate. And the type of market is dependent upon like the population,
Okay.
the income, and then like the average home price. So if you have like high population, high income, like that's like an A market, all right? Like where
Yeah.
we're at is like an A
A
type of
market for
market,
sure.
right? We go to 25th and Lehigh, not an A market.
Yeah, it's not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that like the population is there, right? But like, you know, the income and home value is
You're not
significantly
there,
less. So yeah. So like I kind of give an example, right? Like if you build a storage facility in this area and you build a storage facility in Chester,
You led in a completely different numbers.
yeah, they'd both be A assets, but they're different markets. So like the cap rates in the market, like it could be like a 7 cap here and a 9 cap over there.
Yeah.
So like just kind of like I'll break
Probably
down.
10 cats on the day in check.
Yeah, maybe an 11. Chester's a rough area.
Yeah, man. It's rough. Okay. And you're searching anywhere for these deals, not
Yeah.
not just state specific. It feels like you have like a wide net.
Yeah, when I actually pull data, like I don't even select geography. So asset class,
Tell me that.
yeah, just asset class, minimum size, length of ownership, and that's about it. But if it's in like Hawaii, California, Texas, Idaho,
You don't care.
no.
Okay. How long do they have to own it on average? Like 20 years, probably.
I usually will try to pull like a minimum of 10 years.
Okay.
But as of late, I even will pull like a minimum of 5, and that's just because of like how like 5 years ago, like the cost of building was significantly less. Like somebody could have bought an asset 5 years ago and sell it today and make money.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
kind
been
of
such a big change that it's still
Exactly.
maybe worth it. And it's crazy right now. So it would make
there's
sense.
equity like in the property, right? Like they could
Heck yeah.
they could have maybe 5 years ago bought something for 1 million and didn't really do anything, and now they can sell for
Okay.
$2 million. So somebody would be enticed to kind of do something like that.
Okay. How do you figure out like what is the going rate for that area, or like where you got to be at, like cap rate wise?
It's just kind of like that is, I guess, is more like subjective or whatever that is, subjective, objective. But yeah, it's just kind of like a range. Like generally, like, you know, if it's in like a really good market, like you might be at like a 7.5, roughly 8 cap in a really good market. And then it kind of goes up probably like a cool, you know, half of a point, you know, from, you know, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5. But like if you're in like a really rough area or a rural area, like, yeah, like you're going to have to like sell something at like a 9 or a 10 cap.
To the end buyer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And then how, like, you know, in terms of houses, right, if you could sell something for 70 cents on the dollar, like you need to get it for 65 cents to create the margin. Well, if you can sell something for, you know, a 10 cap, you need to get it at a 10.5 cap or an 11 cap to create a margin.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So you're essentially you're looking for 11 caps all over the place. You know what I mean?
Or if it's a good market like this one, like I said, this big deal I'm closing, they're only, and when they close on it, it'll be like an 8, 8.5 cap.
Okay.
So that is like more unique because of the size of the asset and the quality of the tenant. It also isn't self-storage. It's just a really safe bet. And somebody would rather park, 16, 20 million bucks and get like an 8% return than have to park $2 million in 8 to 10 different places to get a slightly higher return.
Okay. And it's a safe asset class. It's real.
Yeah. Like
What the hell?
the tenant is like a multi-billion-dollar company. Like they're not going anywhere. So like there's not really risk involved. There's obviously like risk, but like, given
Whatever. Yeah.
there's risk in life and real estate, whatever, but like you can minimize the risk, and like,
Okay.
they're just confident, about this type of asset.
Yeah. And how did you meet this buy?
A Facebook group.
Yeah, it all goes down in the Facebook group. I do all these calls.
I sold him at 20, the $300K spread I got, like the $20 million storage deal. That's who I sold it to, the same guy. And I've done multiple deals with him.
And you met him on a Facebook group.
Yeah.
I do all these calls, and people always ask me, Nikki, how am I going to sell a deal? And me, relax, my brother. We're going to put it on Facebook, and we're going to sell it. All my best buyers, I met them on Facebook.
Yeah, I always say
On
like,
Facebook.
and to me it is a little bit different. To me, like I definitely am more focused on like building out like the dispositions in this space than like with houses. But I always say, like, if you have a good fucking deal, go post it on a Facebook group. Like it'll sell like that.
It will sell. If it
it's a
doesn't
good
sell
deal,
on that Facebook
That is not a
group,
deal.
dude, what are you gonna do? You gonna hustle for the next week to make $2,000? And
Yeah.
kind of loose.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like there's like that's if you're going into like the larger asset classes, I always tell people like my mentees get in every like Facebook group if it's self storage, industrial warehouse,
Yeah.
get in everyone, get the emails, have conversations. But yeah, there's real serious buyers like looking for them.
What do you think is better? What do you like better, industrial, or do you like these big, big complexes? Or these
I'm
big
saying so like industrial like is warehouses, self storage, like and the flex space. So I love industrial as an asset class. Like I'm like less interested in like any of the other ones. And the
That
reason
Twitter rabbit hole is insane. For the industrial real estate is insane. I've gone down it a lot of times.
Because but like if you actually like look at it like self storage, right, which is industrial real estate, that's the safest asset in the last 50 years. Not the safest real estate asset. Yeah, look it up. It's the safest asset. Yeah, when the market crashed, well, think about it. I can explain. When a market crashes, somebody loses their mansion and goes to a mini mansion, they got shit to store. When someone loses their house and goes to an apartment, they got shit to store. Like from the time I got out of 5th grade to the time I graduated high school, we moved on average every 11 months. We never lost anything we ever had in storage, but we got evicted every 11 months. So like people put valuable stuff in storage. They don't want to lose it. They'd rather, move than lose it. Small business owners are like big on like storage. And then just industrial as a whole, like, there's a certain percentage of the population that's older. They don't like order stuff online. Well, in the next 10 to 20 years, unfortunately, they are going to be dying off. We're going to get to a point where like 100% of our population orders the majority of their stuff online.
Hey, I do.
Well, that's
I don't want to leave my house.
with the people that are like, the transportation and stuff like that, more warehousing and all industrial will be, go up in demand as that happens more.
Yeah. There'll be more people using it, I guess.
No toilets and tenants. You don't like deal with the traditional landlord tenant laws. It's completely different.
Yeah. You don't really got to do that much inside in a lot of these places.
No. It's the returns that you honestly like the cap rates like now it's like different because it's becoming more popular like industrial, but like still like the cap rates that you can get in industrial compared to like apartment buildings, it's like significantly better, and it's a safer like investment. So you're getting a better return on a safer bet.
On a safer bet, and like you don't have to put that much work into.
Some you do. Like don't get me wrong. Like they're like the New York deal I was saying that's like a grand slam. Like we got to put it's like 200,000 net rentable square feet. We got to put like $500,000 into the roof, just the roof. But don't get me wrong. It's like we'll be into the asset after we do that for like less than $2 million, and it'll be worth like $6 million. Minimum of $5 million.
And that cash out refi is going to be sexy, bro.
Yeah.
Life changing.
Cash out refi and that cash flow.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, but no, I really like found my like niche like with the bigger stuff, and I really like in a way if I do 4 or 5 deals a month, when I'm getting there, like I will do other asset classes just because it will be easier for me to get to that volume in other asset classes. Yeah. But yeah, like I just think that like industrial is the way to go for me.
It's newer for me, but I'm training to have a similar setup for you. I'm managing.
The big thing too is just make sure like you kind of have like a process that you create for them.
Oh, they all have a process. They're not allowed to think by themselves at all. You know what I mean? Everything is this happens, so immediately you do this. You know what I mean? Like
if this, then this.
Exactly.
I literally have a spreadsheet. If the seller says this, then you say this.
Yeah, my girl actually made like a nice little thing one time, and I still use it, bro. I still use it. It's good.
Yeah, it's funny because like the operations part was always like my like Achilles heel, but I never really. I would always just like to me if you literally ask me anything about like wholesaling, I can answer it, but it's like I would never want to kind of sit down and like put pen to paper and like document this stuff, but. Now with the 2 VAs, like I've had them like document more stuff than I had for like the last 10 plus years.
Yeah, that's powerful. Being able to realizing, oh man, I can delegate to these people and they can get it done. Yep. You were saying a second ago, bro. You don't need to be A at everything. Like if that's your personality, you're a C at that. You're gonna do all this work to be a C plus. It's stupid. Have somebody else take it over.
And I feel like so many people kind of like don't like realize that, and it took me a really long time to realize that. Like you think like, oh, you got to be great at every aspect. Like no, like it's more important for you to be great at one area, and then like just put the right people, right person in the right seat, and that's kind of how you're gonna maximize what you can do. For sure. For sure.
Hey, you stay in your lane.
Yes, sir.
You got to stay in your lane. That's it, bro. It's not that complicated. Just do what you're supposed to be doing. That's it,
Exactly.
my bro.
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
I love it. I love it. Heck yeah. So you do their mentorship thing, their coaching program, the Tiff and Josh and I?
Like not like I've been to their event, like
Okay.
but yeah, to me, like Tiff and Josh, I think that they are probably the most efficiently run wholesaling and flipping company in the country. Like I've met a ton of fucking
Yeah.
people, like a ton
You've
of
been in
people.
the game for a minute. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
I've
met
met a
them
ton
all.
of people. Yeah, and I've never met someone that produces the volume, revenue, profit with this small team that they have. Like, and it's not even comparable. Like anyone that does numbers that they do, like they got fucking
Conglomerates. They've got a body of
yeah,
workers.
they're doing like 30 markets. They're doing like 2 markets. But yeah, I always highly recommend. I think their sales and process training, bar none. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You go. I know Tim Stover's gone. Mark Morey's gone. A bunch of my boys have done it. So now I.
Greg went too, and I was like,
Who did?
Greg Guzman.
Oh,
You had
did he?
mentioned Greg
Yeah.
earlier. Because like they'll give me like a referral fee for sending people there, but that's not why I do it. Like I literally like I would not ever co-sign somebody like that I didn't believe in. But I said it to Greg. I was like, yo, you should go to this thing. Then I see him in like a video like 2-3 weeks later. I was like, yo, did you go to that event? He was like, yeah. He was like, I was like, what did you tell them that like I told you to go? He's like, no, it was Nate. I was like, Nate doesn't fucking like Nathan Krautheimer. I was like, Nate doesn't even know them. Like Nate doesn't involve with that stuff.
Oh man, that's funny, Greg.
Yeah, Greg.
What a guy, man. Like he's the man. His energy is great.
Greg, he's the OG. Like he's been in the game like way longer than even I was. I remember I met him probably back in like 2010 when I first got started.
Dang.
Way back when.
Way back in the day. Way back in the day. 2010. And how did you get into wholesaling?
It's crazy. Like I for some reason like I had a crazy like growing up, so I have no idea why I wanted to get in real estate. But when I was like 16, 17, in my mind I wanted to flip houses. I had a kid when I was 18, so life happened. Started working, got laid off a couple times, and then in 2009 I got like laid off, got max unemployment, got severance pay, so I was actually making good money sitting at home. So I'm like, let me go get my real estate license. I'll learn real estate, like having a license, and then I'll like start fixing and flipping houses. So I passed the state exam first try. December of 2009. It's like one of them fucking aha moments. I'm looking online for an investor-friendly real estate broker. I stumble upon a little website at the time, biggerpockets.com. I see wholesaling, and I was like, this is like fucking legal drug dealing, and I'm not going to go to prison. The next day, I ordered 100 bandit signs that came. They came the first or second week of January of 2010. And the rest was history.
Yeah, man, I love that. Where should the bandit sign? See,
I don't recommend like jumping in the deep end like that either. Like like educate yourself a little bit more, because like Bigger Pockets was my business partner for the next 12 months. So I was a bill collector, so I could sell. I can talk to people.
Yeah.
I had no technical knowledge about like houses or real estate or anything. So anytime something came up, like when I'm talking to a seller, I'm not quite sure about the answer, but let me talk to my partner and I'll get back to you. Just go on Bigger Pockets.
Oh man,
And that would happen for like a good 12 to 18 months. And when I first started, I wanted to literally make 60 grand a year, and I didn't want to work for somebody else and have to go into an office. That's literally my
It's funny how your perspective changes after you get a little bit of a taste, and then you see what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Well, and in reality, like it was just like, I was poor growing up. I had a poor person's mindset. Like once I learned about the law of attraction, which was probably in like 2013-ish, I just realized like, I was just thinking too small, and I had very like limited mindset, and then I was just grow. And shit, from 2010 up until like 17, 18, like I like almost like it was increasing revenue by 50 to 100% every year.
Oh, hell yeah, that's fun.
And then it was kind of like I got burnt out, and that's kind of was the transition. Like I got in the game to not have to answer to someone else and not have to go into an office. Well, I kind of like lost sight of that, built like a company, and then was like, this is actually, this isn't what I want. And then that's kind of what led me into the the wholesaling the larger assets, because I had a big team, office, high overhead, high volume. Started doing I built a few houses, did a decent amount of fix and flips. But I realized through all that, like, I'm a sales and marketing guy. I like sales, I like marketing, I like the chase and analyzing of a deal, managing people, processes, construction.
It's not it.
Can't pay me all the money in the world to do it.
It's not it.
No.
Man, it's funny. And they tell you, like, to make the money that we want to make, you need to have this whole huge team behind you, this and that.
Yep.
But you don't.
No, not at all.
You're doing it with a really small team, like fucking small.
Yeah. Yeah, like really small. And like I said, like I can make amazing money just doing, like, 6 to 8 deals, 8 to 10 deals a year.
At home. Yeah. Inside.
And it's like I'm not like talking to the sellers like that. I'm not pulling the list. Like I'm analyzing the deal and handling, like, building the relationships with the buyers, and that's something I've recently even passed off. I want to focus a lot more, like, I'm never not going to do real estate, but, like, just my brand, mindset, fitness, nutrition, like, that is just more of like a passion of mine and stuff that gives me more fulfillment than
I love it
that I get from fucking real estate.
Hell yeah, well, I love it. You can tell that you're very purposeful. Is that the right word? Like, you got a lot of purpose behind it. You do stuff for a reason. It's cool, and it's very, like, bro, you post all the workouts every single day. I love it. You do the burpees, and you do that. Every guy who does the burpees, if you're on TikTok, on TikTok, I swear to God, every guy who's doing the burpees, they do the hip hit before they go down.
The first time,
how you know
the first time I seen somebody do burpees, I seen that, and then so I started. So then, like, 3 people hit me up. They're like, "Yo, what's that about when you do that?" I was like, "I don't
know when you're supposed to do it."
I was like, I seen somebody do it, so I started doing it too.
Heck yeah, I love it, bro. It's good stuff, man. Heck yeah. If you already follow Frank, we were super motivating. Follow him. Yesterday, follow him.
Yeah, that's Fuck It Frank on Instagram. PHUCKIT Frank. That's a play on words from Philly, but too often in life I would get the fuck it's in a negative way.
Yeah.
Like, my conscience tells me, like, oh, don't do that. Nah, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. So this is a different type of fuck it, a blessing, not a curse. And I want to show people if they can change their mind, they can change their life.
Hell yeah. Well, Frank, my brother, thank you so much for coming on.
I greatly appreciate you having me on, and hopefully, the audience got some value.
Dang right, I know I got a ton of value, my guy. So hopefully we can run it up a little bit together.
We will.
Hell yeah, my brother. All right.